Well, here we are, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the live art show where I'm going to be showcasing my work, taking a look at some of my favorite paintings from the past and some that I'm working on now as well. And it's going to be a night where I just want to share with you why I make art and kind of walk you through some of the pieces that are really dear to me. So thank you so much for coming. If you are brand new here, my name is Nicholas Jackson and I'm an artist in northern Minnesota, and I make fantasy paintings that tell stories and that help us remember who we are and that remind us that there's hope. And so tonight we're gonna get cracking right away with some art. I do have my wife is here in the room as well, and she is gonna be helping out. You want to come say hi to you? There we go. We are also on Instagram, and we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch as well. So hey Ron, nice to see you. Go ahead and just say hello in the chat when you get here, because it'd be great to connect with you a little bit. So how tonight is going to work is that I am going to, it's like we're going to walk around an art gallery, but it's going to happen in my studio where I'm going to talk about a piece, bring it up, and hey, Joel is here. Oh, hey, Joel and Ellie are here. That's fantastic. I love that. So I'll talk about a piece, and then you can, if you have any questions or any thoughts about it while I'm talking about it, you can go ahead and just pop that right into the chat, and I'd love to chat with you more about it. Everything that you're looking at here tonight is available for sale. You can pick it up on my website, nicholasjackson.art. There's a link to the live show on there where you can see all the work that's available here today. And yeah, it'd be great if you could check that out as well. Fantastic. Joel, you are on both platforms at the same time. Joel is on YouTube and he is on Facebook. That's actually pretty cool. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I'm really glad that you guys are here. Just a little bit of a background what's been going on. I've been making this year's kind of been crazy for making art for me. I haven't actually produced as much art for myself as I did last year. I had a lot of commissioned work at the beginning of the year that I was wrapping up from projects from last year. And I've also had, I finished a couple books. Maybe you could you grab a couple of the books from the bookshelf? Maybe I could show people what I've been working on. I've done some coloring books, which has been fun. I just finished my second of 3 coloring books that I'm working on here for Concordia Publishing. So shout out to them. Oh, so Elia wants her own tablet. I like that. Okay, cool. That's great. Well, buckle in, everybody. Grab some tea. I have some sweet and spicy black tea for the evening. And we're going to get kind of going right into this. All right, is everybody ready? Is everybody ready to go? All right, let's do it. Okay. All right, so the first painting of the evening is going to be Fawn Guardian. And this is a piece that I did finish this summer. And actually, this is really kind of a fun one to put together, because it's definitely, you can probably tell that it's inspired by Narnia. This kind of almost like Tumnus-like creature. Thank you. And his friends. And so the story behind this guy is that this is a fawn guardian, and his job is to go about the forest, and he takes care of the creatures. He checks on them. And so he has this little lamp, so he can do it at night, which is a little bit safer. And so he's come and meeting with the animals, and they're just saying hello to him. He's checking, make sure everything is pretty funny. My stepdaughter was here today, and she said, thought it was kind of funny that there is a blue bunny, which I actually didn't notice that until right now, which is pretty great. But I like this idea of the creatures in the woods that are a little organized. And so when I was growing up, I was surrounded by woods, and my sister and I and brother would go and play in the woods, and I would pretend that the animals were like this, that this is what they were doing. This is the stuff that happened in the woods. And kind of peeking here a little bit. And so I thought this year I wanted to give that a try. And what's kind of fun is that what's a little different about this painting is that it is actually paper that's been adhered to board. So it's actually taped down to a piece of board like this, just cradled. And so what's cool about this is it can kind of go, it's ready to hang. You don't have to put it in a frame or anything. It just goes right onto the wall. Recently, I got a little stamp too that goes on the back of my work, which I thought was kind of cool. I'll give you a little bit of a close-up of this guy. Try to not hit the microphone when I do this. Notice the mushrooms on his back. He's got mushrooms that he got like a backpack with a leaf here. But yeah, I don't know why I wanted to do mushrooms because Christina really likes mushrooms, and so I had to add a mushroom there, and there's even a couple mushrooms back here, and even under the deer. So yeah, really green, really fun piece. I do have a full-length video coming out on this that I did record. I haven't done all the editing for it or anything yet, but this is our first piece, Fawn Guardian. Yeah. On to the next one. All right, we're cruising. Dean's here. Hey, Dean.
Stacy Barron's watching.
Oh, hey, hi, Stacy. Yeah, let me know if we get anybody, people chatting. Oh, there it is. I can see your chat there. Okay, cool. All right, so our next piece is Freedom Flight. I'll give you a good look at this here.
Llewellyn just joined us.
Well, hi, Llewellyn. How's it going? So glad you could come to the art show. All right, so here we go. Here is Freedom Flight. And this is a painting kind of inspired. I live in a house with 3 ladies, and so they inspire me kind of in different ways. But one of the things that they all have in common is that they all have pretty independent spirits. And there's they just kind of, they have this freedom to them. They don't let anything hold them down. They're going to be themselves, that kind of thing. Well, when I think about freedom, I've always thought about birds and flight. And so I had this idea of this girl flying above the forest, above her problems, and into something better, into something beautiful. And so these birds kind of are with her. And these birds are actually showing up in another painting that I'm working on. That maybe we'll give them a sneak peek. It's not quite done yet. Maybe we'll do that a little bit later. This one is on Artboard. It's acrylic and colored pencils. I've been having a lot of fun combining colored pencils and acrylic paint because I like to draw and paint, and this kind of allows me to do both of those things. Give you a little close up of this guy. Oh, hey, Peter. Welcome. Everybody who's coming in, nice to have you here. If you're just joining us, we're just doing a live art show in my studio where I'm just kind of talking about my work and some of my paintings and kind of giving you a little bit of a tour through the work that I've been doing. One of the things that was kind of special about this was trying to figure out how to make it look like she's actually flying and not just standing. And so I looked online for a lot of different poses. One of the things that's kind of funny about this piece is that what did we decide what she was wearing? This is kind of random. I don't really know.
Her suit?
Yeah, she has this polka dotted. I don't really know what that's about. Maybe that's in the same category as
Like
the
a zoot suit.
zoot suit.
Stacey's wondering what size that is.
This is a 16 by 20. So
Framed in
yeah, it's framed up a little bit because it's matted. So it's framed just a little bit bigger. I'm not sure the whole size of the frame included. So, but just the window there is 16 by 20. If you're just joining us, all the artwork you're seeing today is available on the website. And there's prints available for the original artwork too. But we're looking mostly at original art pieces here today. Ron's asking, do you do any digital? If so, what software do you prefer? And yes, I do a lot of digital work. And a lot of the illustration work that I do is just stays on the computer. It doesn't actually make it into the traditional world with paints and color pencils like you're seeing here. And that's because it's fast and it's easy to make revisions. And for the most of my career, I've used Photoshop, but I've recently switched over to Clip Studio Paint because there's some features in there that make it a little bit better for drawing. There's some things that I miss in Photoshop, but I've been liking Clip Studio Paint. And there's not a subscription. You pay for it once. It's cheap and you're good to go. If you're just getting into this, I highly recommend Clip Studio Paint. So, all right. Which one should we do next, Christina?
Or not Roman,
Riding Hood. Okay, Little Red Riding Hood. Next piece. This one's kind of a fun one because this brings me back to kind of what got me started painting. And I wish I could show you, but I'll have to bring it up another time. But I do have an actual painting of this just kind of when I started drawing, was Little Red Riding Hood. And so that's kind of what brought this piece, because it was kind of going back to that. But here is Little Red Riding Hood. This one is acrylic and color pencils, acrylic gouache. So always been a fantasy, a fairy tale fan, and it's hard to paint that without at least some time doing Little Red Riding. I'm gonna try to get it so it's not quite so much glare. And one of the things I have been trying to do a little bit with my storytelling is bring my colors a little bit under control. Sometimes I have a lot of saturation, colors everywhere. And for this one, I thought it was really fun to have just let her red cloak just stand out so much because it's contrasting with the forest behind it, the green. And then the kind of the ominous wolf in the back there. But yeah, this one is the same size. That 16 by 20 is something I've been kind of enjoying. It doesn't feel too big. It doesn't have to be on an easel. I can put it on my table as well. And but this one's also matted just like the other one was, up in a frame ready to hang. I did. I rhymed, yeah. As I continue to make paintings, you're gonna see a lot more fantasy fairy tale pieces like this. One of the things that's funny about this one is that maybe sometime this year somebody accused this of being AI made, AI produced, and it had to do because I drew her hand so poorly. And so he thought that's what it was. But I'm like, no, I just drew her hand badly. So Ron says, great, you love Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, Clip Studio Paint is great. Do you use it on a computer, on a tablet, or what do you use it on, Ron? Joel's asking, Caden asks, will there be a dragon piece at some point? That's a really good question. And the answer is yes. Do this without breaking anything. Yeah, so for some dragon art, absolutely. I have a huge list, Caden, of potential paintings and ideas that I have for the next ones. And there are dragon ideas. I just kind of keep adding to this list, and I put little thumbnails, little sketches in. So at any point, I can just go and I can work on something. If I want to do some actual painting, I already have the ideas kind of ready to go. So cool. On to the next one. Oh, maybe I should show. Christina was nice enough to bring. Here's I was talking a little bit about what I've been doing recently. I've been working on books, and so here's a book that I did for Concordia Publishing. It's called Enduring Grace. You can grab this on Amazon, but it's a coloring book, and it's for the Lutheran Church, and it has, I think, 75, and it's kind of a workbook kind of thing, but it has 75 drawings in it that I did. There's some sheep, Caden. Ellie, there's some sheep. So different stories about Jesus, the Old Testament. Here's the story of the Good Samaritan. Let's focus. Got to do one camera at a time here. Yeah, that was fun. Good. Save some of the other stories for later too. Okay. let's move on. The next piece is this painting is probably the one that has been the most popular this last year or two. And it doesn't surprise me because I really like foxes. So here is Fox Spirit. Look at that. So I was drawing a fox one day and I was working on its tail, and I realized that I really liked the swooshiness of the tail. And so I kind of elaborated on it. And it ended up going pretty far like this. And I was like, oh, that kind of almost looks like it's a ghost or a spirit. And so that's kind of where how this painting started. And then I was kind of coming up with my own narrative or own idea about like the story behind this. And that this is like a priestess that comes to see the fox and meets with him in the woods. And this one, I wanted it to be pretty simple background. So you can see the trees are pretty simple in the background. Oh, Dean, thanks for posting on Discord. Appreciate it. I probably should have posted there. I didn't. Thanks for doing that. Some fun stuff here. Once again, more mushrooms. Mushrooms just show up everywhere. Even just some reflections, but this is also on paper, and this one's framed and ready to hang as well. What's cool about these is that they're varnished, and which means that they have this. Well, you see how they're pretty shiny. That's a protective coating over them, so that if they get dirty or dusty, you can kind of just wipe them down with a cloth, and they're kind of good to go. Most of the paintings are hung with a wire like this, so they're ready to they're ready to be put on the wall. You don't have to really do anything to them. Sometimes when you buy something, you have to go and get it framed and wait. And that a lot of this is just ready to go right up on the wall. So Fox Spirit, this is a really, really fun one. One more look at this. And this is when I was kind of first experimenting quite a bit with acrylics. I had been painting previously mostly in oils, and so acrylics is kind of a different animal, and I've been really, really enjoying it, and I've mostly switched over to it. So and Ellie has that one in her room. Awesome. I love that. Ron says, I use Clip Studio Paint on Windows laptop with the Julian. Oh, you have one of those tablets. I've been looking at those. iPad Pro and the Samsung S10 Ultra. Nice. Oh, you've got an arsenal there, Ron. Love it. Okay. There's clips. There is Clip Studio Paint. Here's Fox Spirit. Well, we'll move on. We'll move on to my favorite paintings that I've done recently, and that's the Mad Hatter. Man, I can barely fit this thing in. This one's a little bit bigger. This is in 18 by 24 acrylic painting, and always been a Alice in Wonderland fan. And yeah, really, really fun. And I think did we go to the show, or is it because the movie came out, or something kind of prompted me to do this piece? And I had wanted to do something just a little bit different rather than having a scene. I kind of wanted to do a portrait. It's been a while since I had done any sort of portrait or anything like that. And so that's where this guy came about. And there's a lot of Easter eggs in the Mad Hatter painting. You can see the crown represents the queen, the watch, and of course the Cheshire Cat is there up in the corner, and the watch. And I think what's really, really cool about this one is that those are my hands. I actually had to, because I was trying to figure out, well, how do you hold a teacup and everything? And so the easiest thing was actually just to take a picture of it. And so I took a picture of myself holding a teacup. So this is a teacup that we have. Obviously, it doesn't have like the roses and everything on it. But those are my hands. Hello, Peter. Welcome. And of course, he's got like a little thimble on there. Unexpectedly, the roses were one of the favorite, the best parts to paint in this piece. I really love doing the roses. And I typically paint out a lot of this in Clip Studio Paint or Photoshop. And I have kind of a color guide of what I'm going to do. And then I use that to transfer onto the paper. And I can probably talk about that process a little bit more. But initially, his eyes were really different. And I think after talking with Christina about it, we realized that we needed to switch the eyes. And so kind of at the last minute, like I think for the longest time, his eyes were just completely black. And we fixed it kind of at the last minute. And I'm really happy with it. I thought it was a really, really good decision to do that. But I try to do a lot of planning with my paintings, but sometimes it's just better just to go with your gut as things are kind of coming together. But yeah, Mad Hatter painting. This one's framed on a hook, ready to go, ready to hang up. Available on the website, nicholasjackson.art. And this one is colored pencils and acrylic. Yep. Oh, Cassandra's here. Oh, nice to have you here. And Carrie's here as well. My niece Carrie's here. She says, "Go, Uncle Nicholas. You're awesome at this. Thank you." And she's wondering where Christina's at. Christina is actually just sitting right there off camera, hanging out. She's helping with the chat, but I think she's going to come over and say hello.
Hey, Carrie. That's so fun you're here with us. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And he is such a good artist, isn't he? Wow.
Aww. That's really nice of you to say. Glad you're here. Here, could you... Maybe you could... If you want to put that one up here, I'll answer some questions here. So here's an example of kind of what I do. I print off I draw this on the computer, print it off, and this is kind of my guide. And this kind of sits, you see there's even a piece of tape. And this is what kind of sits next to me while I'm painting. So I have a guide of where I'm going next. So with each of the pieces, there's usually one of these kind of floating around. So. All right, how we doing? Joel says, bedtime for the kids. Thanks for answering the message. Absolutely. So glad they were here. Ellie, Aiden, nice to have you.
Hi, Ellie. Hi, Kaden.
Christina says hello.
And to Joel, too.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much. Glad you guys could be here. We really appreciate it. Okay. Give another picture. It's knocked over my paintings in the background there.
So you know what check with us too.
Oh, hi, Chrissy. How's it going? Nice to have you. Cool. So the next piece is this cute little elven archer. I've been heavily influenced by Lord of the Rings over the years. I read The Hobbit when I was in 3rd grade, loved it. And it's been kind of a part of my life kind of ever since. And I was testing out some new, this actually just happened because I was testing out a different technique. And this is actually on a board, which I ended up not liking. But this painting came out of it, which was pretty cool. So this is just an elvish archer sporting her duds in the woods. So this one has acrylic, colored pencils, gouache, marker, and eventually oils. Actually, this is an actual oil painting. So a lot of what you're seeing is oils. So Carrie says, kind of looks like Mary. It really does. Mary does has inspired a lot of my paintings for sure. Everybody in my family actually has made it into a painting, if not a few times, a couple. Yeah.
Carve and stuff on you.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, next, now we're up to Deep Sea Diver. This one also has the stamp on the back. Hanger ready to go. Those of you on the stream on Instagram, thanks for coming. Glad you can be hanging out. Michael Miller's here. Hey, so glad you're able to make it. Glad the link worked and everything's going. I'm glad you're here. Christine, you should make sure that it's broadcasting on the website. That would be helpful. Just go to my website and click the link on it. That would be good to know. Hopefully it's there too. This will all be available after the live stream. You can go and get your piece on the website, nicholasjackson.art. So I'm a big fan of anything under the sea. And there is a film that I watched when I was young called 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And there's these huge monsters. And I really, really like octopus. These are octopi. Is it octopi? He's like, whatever. It does. We won't say that. And so that inspired this piece. And a little bit different with this one is that it's completely an oil painting. There's nothing else in it. Maybe a little bit of acrylic underpainting, but this is just on a wood panel. And I like how there's like jellyfish inside the painting. There's also all different types of creatures. The best one though is down here at the very, very bottom. That is a googly-eyed jellyfish right there. Which is actually not a jellyfish at all, but it's only been fairly recently discovered. So this idea that there's monsters, there's life under the sea. And we've got our deep sea diver here about to do a little bit of, he's found a treasure, and but there's somebody protecting the treasure, which is really fun. There's a sunken ship way in the back there. I don't know if you can see that. There's a sunken ship. It's kind of cool. There's even an eel. I don't know if you can see this eel down here. It's really glary. This one's really shiny. It was really fun painting all of the different sea life and the coral reefs and everything. I really liked that. But I think that doing the suction cups of the octopus was probably the best part of this one. Yeah, I had a really fun time with this piece. You can see this green, this viridian green, kind of shows up in a lot of my paintings. I guess I've been going through a green phase that I can't seem to stop doing. I don't know. Guess my wife really likes green. Time for tea. Welcome to those who just joined onto the live stream. Glad you're here on Instagram as well. Most of the people here are on YouTube. We got some on. Shout outs to Stacy, of course, Cassandra, and yes, you did catch us. Thank you so much. Glad you could be here. Fantastic. All right. This one is also 16 by 20 inches. Available on the website. Prints of this one as well. Snake, could you hand me one of those paintings over there? It's working? Oh, good. Sometimes I feel like when I do this, there's all sorts of like crazy technical problems, but today worked really, really well. All right, so this one brings me back to when I was a kid. I grew up in the woods. Not a lot to do, but what I really liked doing was watching Sherlock Holmes. And my mom introduced it to me. And so I just had to eventually, at least some point, do a Sherlock painting. Well, because I like foxes, as you can probably tell from the other paintings, I decided to do a Sherlock Fox piece. Which, after I did this, I realized there was actually a comic book based upon Sherlock Fox, which is kind of fun. So, Sherlock Holmes. So what's the thing that was really fun about doing this piece is I always liked how they would kind of come back to Baker Street, have a pipe, talk about the case, and then Watson would write it up. Sherlock would say how bad it was, that it was too much of a story and not enough of a scientific exercise. So there's actually, in this painting, there are quite a bit of different, if you're a Sherlock Holmes fan, you will find a lot of different little Easter eggs here. His slipper that he used to keep his tobacco in. Blue carbuncle. It's up here on the wall. Over there. The busts are here. Of course, his little chemistry set. Get in there a little bit of a close up here of Sherlock Fox. In the final problem, he and Moriarty fell down a long waterfall, and so that piece is in there as well. Of course, he has tea, and he even his little violin is there. I don't know if I showed you that, but his violin is in there. So if you're a Sherlock Holmes fan, make sure to pick this, at least pick a print up. This one, pretty much, this one's oil and is a 16 by 20 on panel. All right, next one, got a couple more over here. Actually, can I hand you that? Cool. Ask what medium. That was oil paints on that one. For the Sherlock Holmes, that was completely oil. There may have been a little bit of acrylic underpainting on that one, if I remember right. I'd have to double check, but for the most part, it was oil. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Dean. I appreciate it. So, next piece is our Mermaid and Friend, which I had done for Mermaid last year. Just wanted to give a try doing a mermaid piece. I think mermaids are pretty magical. It's kind of an under the sea piece as well, because I'm a fan of under the sea. There is a kind of a narrative about the garbage in the sea. There's plastics and things like plastic bags and things like that, this bottle and stuff. Kind of drives me bananas how we end up polluting our waters like that. I know that it's a lot of corporations that do it, but people do it as well too. It's just really too bad. But so this piece was kind of has a little bit of that in there as well. Crazy Yellow. I decided not to fill out the whole piece. I kind of wanted to make it a vignette. Not sure if I actually thought that was a good decision or not, but nevertheless, that's the way it ended up. And this is colored pencils and acrylic on illustration board. Really, really thick illustration boards, 20 ply of paper. But typically around May for Mermaid, I like to get this one out, showcase this one a little bit. Ron says he's liking his favorite piece is Aslan Conquer's Death is your favorite. That's great. That's actually my most recent commission. Yeah, it was a really, really fun piece. I don't have... What's that? It's a humongous piece too. It was 2 by 3 feet. Really, really, really big, really big painting. Those two are not, but the Grinch there is. Yeah, I'll probably show some work in progress here towards the end, as we're cruising. Hey, Brandy's here. Hey, it's really nice to have you here. Thanks so much for joining. Always great to see you. Nice to have you on the broadcast. That's fantastic. All right, so this one I actually haven't really shared a lot about yet. It's kind of funny because it's been sitting for almost a year I haven't really done anything with it. But this is the Grinch. Did it last Christmas. He actually made his debut this summer at an art festival. And it was funny, everybody like the Grinch wanted to come up and see it. And I didn't even have any prints available for him. But I think the Grinch is a great story during Christmas. Reminds us what's important during the holiday season. And I love the original. And I love, which is the version, the animated version that came out pretty recently is actually really, really good. My family members likes the live action, but we don't have to talk about that. No, just kidding. It does have Jim Carrey in it. But I think there's a little bit of the Grinch in all of us when we, as the time of year comes by, it can be, there's tendencies to miss out on it a little bit, but he finally figures it out. So this is acrylic, colored pencils, and eventually oil paints. So it's a mixed media piece on illustration board, 500 series, framed, ready to hang, ready to go. Cool. All right, I'm going to show you now a couple digital pieces that I've done recently that I have some prints available. So if you're not interested in a full fledged original painting, some prints are really, really good options. Really good, easy way to get into getting some art in your hands. One of my all-time favorite stories is Robin Hood. And so here's Robin Hood and Little John on having their first meeting, having their battle. Just the idea of Robin Hood's always been great. It was my favorite Disney story growing up. Loved it a lot. Not just because Robin Hood was a fox in that, but that definitely did help. Keep coming back to that theme, don't we? So Ron, this is done completely in Clip Studio Paint. And this kind of giclée print is actually on watercolor paper. So it even has like, it's really hard to see, but there's a texture. Maybe you can catch it. It's actually a texture to the print, which kind of gives it a little bit of life because it's actual paper, not just on a screen. So it's really a fun piece. This is a part of a 3-part series, 3-part paintings about Robin Hood. You can check those out on my website. He even has his battle horn there to call his merry men. That's a good one. All right. We'll go over to, and we actually do have prints available, Ron, if you're interested, of Aslan Conquers Death. Here is the 11 by, these are 11 by 14. Once again on the watercolor paper. This piece is great. It means a lot to me, not only for who commissioned it, but the scene in general. This this scene is probably one of the most powerful parts of the whole series. There is another one in Horse and His Boy that's really great, where Aslan is running along the cliff, but this is where he conquers death. The stone table, if you're not familiar with this series, where he broke it by coming back to life again, so he conquers death and saves Edmund's life. We have Calgary in the background too. There's even mushrooms in this one. Look how the mushrooms keep coming up. How do they keep coming up? There they are. The mushrooms are everywhere. What's that?
The decay.
Because of decay. So the this was probably the biggest painting that I've done. Yeah, not ever. I've done maybe back in college, but I don't usually typically work as big. And so this originally was 2 feet by 3 feet, which is just humongous. So yeah, Brandy, nice to have you here. Glad you can be here. But yes, Aslan conquers death. One of the latest pieces I've been working on. All right, I think this is our last piece of the night. Now maybe I'll give you a sneak peek as to what's coming next. But we have a Peter Pan piece, Peter and Tink, just flying through the forest, going on an adventure. With I am represented by Wendy Linen Company. It's a great artist agency. I work with a guy named Kyle, he's fantastic. We have prompts throughout the year that kind of help us build our portfolio and work on that. And when I was young, I used to pretend I was Peter Pan all the time. I'd even like fly. When I'd go on like the swings on the playground, I would pretend I was Peter Pan and I would fly. It was just constantly Peter Pan for me. You can sum up a lot of my childhood of Peter Pan, Star Wars, and Narnia, basically. But there we go. So these little Giclée prints are also available on the website as well. One last look. You can really see the texture of the paper on this one. I think that's really fun. All right, so it's time for some sneak peeks as well. So there's some paintings that have been kind of sitting that I haven't been able to really get to in a while. It's kind of frustrating. But these ones are in the works. And Brandy, you're going to be excited about this one because this one I've been working on a little bit. Justin says we need more Lord of the Rings art. That's totally true. And going back to what Caden was asking, that's probably where we'll see the dragons. So this piece, it's not quite finished. And this is Troll Mountain. So in this narrative, in this place, some of the mountains are actually trolls, are made of trolls. And so this one is this guy is on a quest to meet him. There's actually, it's not quite finished here, but there's an actual sword stuck into the stump here. Once again, we have this green blue. It just keeps coming back, Christina. It's just everywhere. But this one is colored pencils, acrylic, and an oil paint as well. So hopefully this one will be finished not too long from now, but has been sitting. I just did this background here, so this is an oil paint right here. You can see how it's a lot more smooth surfaced, or smooth blending. So I've been trying to use the mediums for what they're good at. Acrylics are really good for drying fast and layering, and then oils are really good for blending. Another big one. This is 18 by 24. And then the last piece I'm going to share with you tonight does include those birds that we saw previously in the Freedom Flight. And this painting I had stuck in my head for ages, this idea of this sailboat in the sky. So this is called Sail Away. Sail away, sail away. And just this idea of freedom is kind of this thematic element that comes a lot in my work. And so we have the sailboat that's flying in the sky with our little birds chasing it that represent freedom. I wanted an opportunity to have this big, huge moon in a piece. And so that's where kind of this one came about. We talked a little bit ago about changing course while I'm painting, and this is another example of this. The sails were completely blue before, and I realized the painting was just only blue, and it needed something else. And so I came back with oil paint and painted the sails orange to kind of complement it. But this is also paper, painted on paper that's been glued to a piece of board. And so it can be easily slapped into a frame, ready to go. Archivally, I guess from what I've done some reading on it, is that this is one of the most archival ways to keep art is paper on a board. It's an illustration board, or because the way that moisture works with it and everything. It's interesting, but yeah, so that's our last piece of the night. So glad you like that one, Ron. Sure, yeah, I could show. Yeah, I do have another one. I have a lot of paintings kind of sitting that are kind of working, that I'm just working on, and I have a couple commissions that I'm working on, so my own pieces kind of get pushed to the side. So that's why I wanted to share this with you tonight, because you can see some of my own pieces. Here's an example of how I will do a digital painting, just pretty rough with the colors, and use that as a guide for the actual painting. You can see how close these are. So this is Owl. This is Owl Guardian, and he actually at night guards the fairies in the houses here. You can see the little huts that they have, and he is not happy about it. He doesn't. Elias, nice to have you. Thanks. Glad you're here. And yeah, he's not happy about it at all. But yeah, this is just a watercolor paper, and this is like a thick foam core. It's called Gator board. And I can staple down the edges so that it doesn't buckle on me. And then, yeah, like I said before, I typically have a little color comp there that helps me, guides me as I'm going, and it just kind of stays right there, so I'm on task. And what's really nice about doing it this way is that doing a little bit of the work ahead allows me to kind of just get in the zone and just play and have fun. I'm not thinking, when I'm painting, I'm not like, oh, what color is that going to be? Or what's the composition, or my drawing. That's kind of all done. I get to just enjoy the painting process of applying it, which is really, really good. So thanks to whoever just have made their order on the website. We appreciate that so much. Thanks so much for ordering that. But this one's also colored pencils, acrylic. So yeah, anything you've seen here today, minus the ones that aren't quite finished yet. Brandy says, I need that one. Love it. Which one were you talking? Sorry, I missed that one. That's your favorite. Are you talking about the mountain troll, or which one are you talking about? Yeah, website is just nicholasjackson.art. And there you can pick up a lot of those pieces, nicholasjackson.art. So everything that Ron just ordered the Aslan one. Nice. Thanks so much for sharing that. Absolutely. Thanks for the support, Ron. Nice to have you here tonight. And yes, anything you saw here this evening is available for purchase. Both the originals and most of them have prints for them as well. I also have my calendars coming out. There are a few more calendars. We had people pre-order them, but they'll be arriving here, I think, next week. So be on the lookout for that as well. Also on my website, I am giving away some free art, some free prints. So like this fox painting, I give away a free little print of it. If you just go to my website, on the main page, you'll see free art. Just click that, and I would love to send you some free art just to get to know you a little bit. Like I said, remember to check out the calendars. And also, finally, I'm also open to commissions right now. Those will be starting up. I'll have some openings up here in December as well. And so if you're interested in getting a commission from me, I'd love to chat with you further. Just head to my website and click on the button that says commissions, and that will help us get started. So thank you so much, everybody who joined tonight for this live. I think it's the very first live art show that I've ever done. It's kind of fun walking you through each piece. Thanks so much, my love, for helping me. And for those of you who came and joined us tonight, it's always great to have you. I appreciate your support. To those on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram, I didn't forget about you. Thank you so much for coming. Remember that you guys, you're valuable, that you're loved, you matter, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for coming. Later.